Hi, I'm Olivia, and what I'm about to share isn't just a story about a wedding gift. It's a tale of family, betrayal, and the unexpected ways life can turn when you least expect it. I spent my childhood in the shadow of my younger sister, Isla, while I dedicated myself to growing my interior design business from our small, cluttered apartment. Isla pursued a more conventional path: law school, big name law firms, and the perfect life our parents had always dreamed of for her. Don't get me wrong, I was proud of her. But in our family's eyes, her accomplishments always seemed to shine brighter than my little design project, as my mother liked to call it. What they didn't know was that my little project had quietly transformed into a flourishing boutique design studio, serving high-profile clients and steadily building my reputation. I kept my success low-key, not out of shame, but because I'd learned early on that seeking approval from my family was a losing battle. I lived modestly in a compact apartment, drove an old car, and reinvested every penny into my business. Meanwhile, Asla flaunted her lawyer salary with designer clothes and lavish vacations, all while struggling under the weight of student loans our parents helped cover. Everything changed when Isla announced her engagement to Andrew, a partner at her prestigious firm. The wedding became the sole focus of our family. Every conversation, every dinner, every Sunday brunch centered around her perfect day. I tried to be supportive, offering to design her wedding decor as my gift. "Oh, Liv," Asla chuckled during a family dinner, her voice laced with subtle mockery. "That's sweet, but I've already hired the top designer in the city. I need someone with experience." Our mother nodded approvingly, adding, "Dear, this is an elite wedding. We can't afford to take risks with your creative ideas." Their words stung, but I swallowed my pride. I decided to give them something they couldn't easily dismiss: a $50,000 check as a wedding gift, along with a custom-designed gown for Isla's honeymoon. I had it all planned: an exquisite silk gown in a shade of emerald green that would complement her eyes, hand-embroidered with delicate pearls. A dress fit for the most exclusive boutiques. The day I brought the gift to their engagement party, held at the opulent Rosewood Estate, the same venue where the wedding would take place, I felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. The Rosewood Estate, a 19th century mansion known for hosting the city's most elite events, was breathtaking. As I walked through its grand entrance, holding the perfectly wrapped box in my arms, I admired the magnificent architecture and the sprawling gardens. I found Isla surrounded by her law firm colleagues, dominating the room. Her expression faltered when she saw me approach, but I pressed on with a smile. "Isla, I wanted to give you your gift early," I said, offering the box and the envelope. "I hope you'll love it." She opened the envelope first, her eyes widening at the check. But instead of gratitude, a flicker of anger flashed across her face. $50,000? She said loudly, drawing the attention of nearby guests. "What, are you trying to compete with my salary now?" Before I could answer, she yanked open the gift box, pulling out the gown with such force that the pearls scattered across the marble floor. "And what's this supposed to be?" she scoffed. "A knockoff? Did you really think I'd wear something from your little business for my honeymoon?" Our mother rushed over, assessing the situation with unmistakable disapproval. "Liv, really? Trying to steal the spotlight at your sister's engagement party? This is exactly why we don't trust you with important events." I stood there frozen as Asla crumpled the dress and shoved it back into the box along with the check. "I don't need your charity, Liv. Why don't you just leave? Your presence is ruining my special day." The room fell silent, all eyes on us. Andrew, Asla's fiancé, stood off to the side, avoiding eye contact. Some guests whispered, others pretended to focus on their champagne glasses. "Fine," I said, my voice unnervingly calm. "I'll leave. Congratulations on your engagement." As I turned to walk away, I heard my mother's voice behind me. "This is why we never invited you to family events. You always make it about yourself." I left the Rosewood Estate that evening with my head held high, but my heart was shattering. What they didn't know was that their cruel dismissal would set in motion a series of events that would change everything. While they were busy planning their dream wedding at the Rosewood Estate, they had no idea that I was about to make a move that would shatter their carefully constructed world. That night, as I sat in my modest apartment, the one they loved to criticize me for, I made a decision that would change our family dynamic forever. I opened my laptop and began researching the ownership of the Rosewood Estate. What I discovered would be the first step in a plan that would leave my family speechless. The historic venue, it turned out, was quietly being put up for sale. The current owners, an elderly couple, were looking to retire. They wanted someone who would preserve the estate's legacy while bringing fresh energy to its management. What they didn't know was that my little business had grown into something far bigger than they could imagine. My interior design studio had caught the attention of top-tier clients, and I had secured deals with some of the most luxurious retailers in the country. The small apartment and old car weren't signs of failure. They were the choices that allowed me to save, invest, and build a solid financial foundation. As I stared at the listing for the Rosewood estate, a plan began to form. I had the resources to purchase it, and even more importantly, I had the vision to transform it. But I needed to ensure everything was handled discreetly. Timing would be everything. The next morning, I called my lawyer, Alex, who had been handling my business contracts for years. I need this to be done quietly, I explained. No one can know I'm the buyer until after the deal is finalized. Alex understood immediately. We created a holding company to facilitate the purchase, ensuring my name wouldn't appear on any public records. Then began weeks of negotiations, property inspections, and careful planning, all while my family remained completely unaware of what was unfolding behind the scenes. The irony wasn't lost on me when Asla called one evening, her voice dripping with sweetness. "Liv, I've been thinking, maybe you could help with some of the wedding details. Nothing major, of course. Just some small things, like the guest welcome bags." I agreed politely, already knowing that everything was about to change. "Of course, Isla, I'd love to help." 2 months before the wedding, the purchase of the Rosewood estate was complete. I stood in the grand ballroom, now my grand ballroom, where just months ago I had been humiliated. The elderly owners, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, handed me the keys with tears in their eyes. "We've been waiting for someone like you," Mrs. Thompson said warmly, "someone who understands both tradition and innovation. Please promise us you'll keep the spirit of the estate alive." I promised, and I meant it. But first, I had a wedding to prepare for. A wedding, however, that my sister didn't see coming. "Don't worry," I said calmly, a controlled smile playing on my lips. "I'm sure everything will work out just as it should." As I hung up the phone, I took a long look around the sprawling halls of my newly acquired property. The same walls that had witnessed my humiliation were about to be the stage for something entirely different. Part 1 of this story was ending, but Part 2, that's where things would get truly interesting. Over the next few weeks, I balanced patience and strategy. As the new owner of the prestigious Stonebrook estate, I meticulously reviewed every upcoming event. I paid special attention to my sister's wedding, and I knew there were changes to be made. Though everything was technically in order, as the new owner, I had the right to make some adjustments. I hired a new staff, upgraded the facilities, and instituted stricter event policies, all perfectly reasonable, of course. But they just so happened to affect Sophia's wedding plans in ways she couldn't possibly have foreseen. The first ripple came when my event coordinator, Lily, called her. "Miss Matthews, I'm reaching out regarding your upcoming wedding," Lily explained. "Under new management, we now require all vendors to be licensed and insured through our approved list." Sophia's reaction was swift, filled with panic. She called me immediately. "Isabella, you need to fix this. The new owners of Stonebrook are ruining everything. Half of my vendors don't even make the approved list, and they won't make any exceptions." I kept my tone cool and steady. "That sounds stressful. Have you tried meeting with the new owner?" "They won't even take my calls," she screamed, her voice tinged with desperation. "The wedding is in 3 weeks. It's all falling apart, and even Mom can't reach them." I couldn't help but smirk to myself. Our mother, always so sure of her influence, had apparently hit a brick wall with the new ownership. No one was budging, not even for her. The breaking point came during the final walkthrough, just 2 weeks before the wedding. Sophia, our mother, the wedding planner, and a handful of vendors arrived at Stonebrook, expecting to finalize everything. But instead, they were greeted by my new venue manager, Angela, whom I had chosen for her sharp professionalism and no-nonsense attitude. "I'm afraid we have a few issues to address," Angela began, consulting her tablet. "The guest list exceeds our new safety regulations. Your caterer doesn't meet our insurance requirements, and the outdoor ceremony location you selected is no longer available due to ongoing restoration." I watched through the office window as Sophia's face turned crimson with fury. "This is outrageous," she shouted. "Do you know who I am?" who my fiancé is, we're suing. Our mother, always quick with her charm, added, surely we can work something out. Money is no object, and the previous owners would have been accommodating. Angela stood her ground. The new owner is very particular about maintaining the highest standards. If you'd like, I can arrange a meeting for you to discuss your concerns. Sophia's eyes flared. Yes. Get her here now. Angela smiled politely. She's already here. That was my cue. I descended the grand staircase, enjoying the stunned expressions on their faces as realization hit. Good afternoon, Sophia, mother, I said coolly, letting the words hang in the air. Welcome to my establishment. The room went dead silent. Sophia's face cycled through a range of emotions: shock, disbelief, and anger. Our mother, clutching her designer purse like a life raft, turned white. You? Sophia gasped. This is impossible. You can't afford. This place is worth millions. I leaned in, letting the weight of the moment settle. Remember my little hobby? Turns out designing luxury fashion can be incredibly profitable when done properly. The dedication you put into law school, I put into building my brand. The only difference is I did it without debt and without anyone's help. But the wedding. Our mother interjected, her voice faltering. You can't possibly mean to ruin your sister's special day. Ruin it? I raised an eyebrow. Like you ruined my engagement party gift? No, I'm simply ensuring all events at Stonebrook meet our new standards of excellence. Whether that includes your precious wedding is entirely up to you. The wedding planner, sensing the storm brewing, quickly tried to escort the vendors out of the room, but Sophia wasn't done yet. You did this on purpose. She spat, her eyes burning with fury. You bought this place just to get back at me. I sighed, remaining calm. Actually, I bought it because it's a solid business investment. The revenge part is just a bonus. Now you have two choices. You can find a new venue with 2 weeks' notice, or you can apologize, genuinely, for your behavior at the engagement party and work with us to make your wedding as magnificent as it should be. Your choice. For what seemed like an eternity, Sophia and our mother huddled, whispering in urgent conversation. I could practically see the calculations in their minds. Finding a new venue at this late stage would be catastrophic. The gossip, the social fallout, the embarrassment, it was a no-win scenario. Finally, Sophia took a deep breath and stepped forward. Her face was flushed, her shoulders tense, but her voice was steady. I'm sorry, Isabella. What I did at the engagement party was cruel and ungrateful. I was jealous of your success and took it out on you. The dress you made me was beautiful, and the gift was incredibly generous. I studied her face. This was the first time I had seen any semblance of genuine remorse from her. As for our mother, she stood silent, her lips tight, offering nothing but a slight, reluctant nod. And you, mother? I prompted. Anything to add? She straightened her posture, still holding her ground. I may have underestimated you, and perhaps been unfair in my judgment of your choices. It wasn't a full apology, but for our mother, it was a monumental shift. I gave a slight nod, then turned to Angela. Please work with them to accommodate the original plans where possible, but all safety and insurance requirements remain non-negotiable. The wedding, when it finally took place, was beautiful, but perhaps not in the way Sophie had envisioned. The guest list had to be reduced to meet our new capacity regulations, and some vendors had to be replaced to comply with our requirements. But in the end, the event was more intimate and elegant than the grandiose affair she had once planned. And Sophia, she wore 2 dresses that day. The designer gown from Paris for the ceremony, and for the reception, she slipped into the blue dress I had designed, exactly the one she had crumpled and dismissed. I had restored it, each crystal painstakingly sewn back into place. It was a testament to the power of second chances. The most surprising change, however, occurred in the months after the wedding. My success with Stonebrook couldn't be ignored, and suddenly, my family began to see me in a new light. Sophia began asking for business advice, admitting that she was tired of the corporate grind and wanted to open her own practice. Our mother, though still offering unsolicited advice about my personal life, showed genuine pride in my accomplishments. As for me, I kept my modest apartment and my used car, but I moved my design studio into Stonebrook, converting one of its wings into a creative space where I could design while enjoying the view of the lush gardens. The Harrisons, previous owners, often visited, thrilled to see how I had preserved the property's history while ushering it into the future. On quiet evenings, after all the guests had left and the last event had ended, I would walk through the grand ballroom. The same room where my humiliation had begun now resonated with joy. Weddings, anniversaries, graduations, all of them reminding me that success is the best form of revenge, but forgiveness is the truest victory. My story isn't just about proving my worth to my family. It's about proving it to myself, standing firm in who I am and what I've built. Stonebrook wasn't just a property, it was a statement, a declaration that sometimes the person they underestimate the most is the one they should have valued all along. And that $50,000 check I tried to give Sophia, I invested it into Stonebrook, creating a scholarship fund for young entrepreneurs in the fashion and event planning industries. Because sometimes the best way to move forward is to lift others up alongside you.